What up, though? You're listening to Questions and Confessionals, the part of Baked After Dark where you send your baking questions, life confessions, or whatever's on your heart, and I do my best to answer. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Bree, and tonight we've got a whopping 6 questions on the table, so let's get started. Our first question comes from Jasmine. Jasmine says, I watched your last episode and those brownies made me want to lick my screen. Why were they so fudgy? Well, thank you so much for watching, Jasmine, and thank you for the compliment, but girl, don't lick your screen. So the secret to my brownie recipe and why they're so fudgy is the melted butter and also the low flour to butter ratio. That's what makes my recipe so fudgy. And you can't see it through the screen, but the brown sugar that I use in that recipe also gives them a little chewiness. And the espresso powder that I use really ups the ante on that chocolatey goodness. But to answer your question, what makes my brownies so fudgy is the melted butter and my flour to butter ratio. So this is a really low flour brownie recipe, and that is what makes them just fudgy little bites of goodness. Now, if you're a person that prefers cakey brownies, I'm judging you and I do not agree with you. But if you were looking, for example, to make a more cakey brownie, you would maybe add an extra egg or two to my recipe and a little bit more flour. In either case, you want to make sure that you don't overbake, that you just bake them until the edges start to pull away from the pan and they look a little underdone in the middle. They'll finish cooking as they cool. And then once they completely cool, or mostly cool if you can't wait, they'll be up and ready to slice. So thank you so much again for watching, Jasmine, and I hope you make those brownies. Fudgy brownies, of course. Our next question comes from Monique. And Monique says, what is the sexiest food you've ever cooked? Oh man, what a question. I'm gonna have to say lasagna. Now listen, I know lasagna is like basically a casserole, and casseroles are not conventionally sexy, but in this case, my lasagna is packed with sex appeal. First of all, I make my pasta fresh, so no box noodles over here. For me, I don't know, there's something almost sensual about rolling out pasta sheets while a sauce simmers in the back, and I got my glass of wine, and I'm usually listening to R&B. So really it's the vibe in the preparation and the tediousness. Lasagna is not a difficult dish to make, but it's a lot of work. And honestly, the sexiest meals, in my opinion, are the labors of love, the ones that take some time. My lasagna, of course, always comes with a fresh baked loaf of garlic bread and maybe a cute roasted vegetable to try to offset the the carb overload. But yeah, lasagna is sexy. Well, my lasagna is sexy, and if I make you lasagna, I love you for real, or I think you real sexy, or both. Our next question comes from an anonymous listener that says, is cornbread supposed to be sweet or not? Because I'm ready to fight about it. Well, first of all, let's not fight over cornbread, all right? So I don't know. I'm a bit of a cornbread connoisseur, and I think it depends on what you're having it with and where you're from. So obviously I'm from Detroit, but my roots, like a lot of Detroiters, are very southern. My mother's family is from Alabama. My dad's family is from Mississippi. So yeah, I'm a bit of a cornbread connoisseur. I like it both ways. For me, it just kind of depends on what I'm eating. So I like non-sweet cornbread with like beans and collard greens, and then I like sweet cornbread if it's like with a soul food plate, like if I got like a fried pork chop and the macaroni and yam combo happening with some greens, then I'm gonna want like a little jiffy cornbread muffin on the side. But I don't know. I can't even really say that because, like, when I make chili, sometimes I make like an apple cinnamon cornbread, and then sometimes I make a jalapeno cheddar. So it just, for me, it just kind of depends. I think that the only wrong answer with cornbread is dry cornbread. Get that shit out of here. Don't come over here with no dry cornbread. If your cornbread is dry and crumbly, or if you got hot water cornbread and that shit like a hockey puck, baby, get that from around me. So I hope that answers your question. And yeah, don't be fighting over no cornbread, baby. It ain't worth it. Our next question comes from Marcus. And Marcus says, why do my cookies spread sometimes and then sometimes they don't spread at all? Is it me or is it my oven? Well, Marcus, it's probably a little bit of both. I really have to look at your recipe to determine, but I'm going to give you a couple of foolproof ways to make a good cookie, no matter what kind of cookie it is. So if your cookies are spreading too much, then your butter is probably too warm, or you have too much sugar. That will make them spread like crazy. So in that case, you want to try to maybe chill your dough a little bit. The other side of that, like, let's say your dough is not spreading enough. Maybe they're too cold, or maybe you just got too much flour. So again, it's all about ratio. If when you make your dough and it's like super soft, almost like warm putty, then you want to add more flour. If it's super tough, like clay, right, then you have too much flour and maybe you need to add an extra egg, or maybe even a little bit of like sour cream or cream cheese to soften that dough up a little bit. The other part, and this is super important, is that you want to make sure that when you put your cookies in the oven, you are putting them in an oven that has been preheated. Starting cookies off in a cold oven that has to come up to your target temperature is going to make your cookies spread too much every time, because that is going to cause uneven baking. So my takeaway from you, Marcus, is you might need to add a little bit more flour, maybe a couple tablespoons if you have super flat cookies, or not add as much flour if they're not spreading at all. Definitely preheat your oven. And the last piece of advice is to make sure that you use parchment paper. Parchment paper actually helps stop the spreading, and it actually helps them bake beautifully underneath. So nice golden brown cookies. I really hope that helps. And if you have more questions, or if you want to send me a picture of your cookies, please follow up with me. Our next question comes from a listener who calls himself Big Man.
Boy, what the fuck you want?
Big Man asks, you still making quinoa and legs? Asking for myself. Were they legs? I don't recall them being legs, but maybe they were. But I do. I absolutely do. I love grain and a protein. So yeah, I'm still around here making quinoa and chicken. Not always legs, usually wings or breast, but that is the thing. The thing I can tell you is that yesterday's price ain't today's price. Do with that what you will. Our last question tonight comes from my internet cousin Samara. Hey girl. Samara asks, what makes a dumpling a dumpling? And you know what? That's a good ass question, because a dumpling can be so many things. It can be dough wrapped around a piece of fruit like a peach or an apple, or it could be dough cooked into liquid. It could be filled like ravioli, or not filled like the dumplings that are in chicken and dumplings. Yeah, dumplings are super versatile, and their versatility is exactly why pierogies, wontons, matzo balls, even the middle layer in my peach cobbler that I love so much, all count as a dumpling. So essentially, if it's a little bite of dough comfort that's been boiled, steamed, fried, or smothered, baby, that's a dumpling. And my God, I just love a good dumpling. I want to be a dumpling. Like, Eat me up. Wait a minute. Anyway. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. That's all for tonight. If you have questions, confessions, or something that you want to tell Bree, get it off your chest. Go to bakedwithbree.com/ask Bree, and you can submit your questions even anonymously if you want to or need to. I'm your host, Bree. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok on official Baked After Dark. New episodes of Baked After Dark on YouTube every Wednesday night at 7 p.m., where you are more than welcome to come catch a vibe and kick it in my kitchen. I'm going to teach you a recipe, I'm going to tell you something important, and I'm going to look good doing it. You don't want to miss that. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, and rate the show. Help me grow. Don't just keep me to yourself. Go ahead, tell your mama no. I got a little something for everybody. And make sure you catch some of the private sessions where I do a audio recipe and walk you through how to make it. Last week we did chewy chocolate chip cookies, and y'all have been showing out with downloading that link. If you missed it, it's still up on my website, bakedwithbree.com/shop. The recipe is completely free, $0. So go ahead and download it, make some cookies, and show me your cookie. In an appropriate way. I'm your host, Bree. Thank y'all so much for kicking it with me tonight. Thank y'all for writing in all the baking questions and subtle temperature checks. I'll catch y'all next time. In the meantime, y'all stay sweet, alright? Bye, y'all.